Right. Hi. Welcome. We're here for the Akashic Channeling Circle, and today it's myself, Katsura Balanza, and joined by Now. Welcome. It's good to have you on. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining. I'm glad we get to do this together.
I know.
Yeah. So, before we begin and have any questions, we'll go ahead and take a moment to just center and ground. So, wherever you might be, go ahead and come into a comfortable position. And you can be sitting or laying, whatever you prefer, and wherever you feel your body connected to the ground. Allow yourself through those centers to feel the energies of earth flowing into your body, allowing with each breath deeper relaxation. And we'll allow the light from the sun, the raw energy, to flow over us and within us, cleaning and clearing out anything that might not be serving, cleansing and clearing within. Mm. Hmm. And we'll take a moment of silence in honor of the Akashic Records in gratitude and however much gratitude that you can. I want to envision bringing that gratitude into a crystallized form within the many ethers, the multi dimensions, allowing it to crystallize. As we share that with the Akasha. Thank you. Hmm. Oh, and the Akashic Records are open, and we'll go ahead and Tom, welcome on with us today. Oh, hi, Tom. It's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. And it is a little quiet. I'm wondering if you have a way to maybe either speak up or closer to the mic, perhaps.
Yeah, I can also switch to my laptop, but I'm gonna ask my guest to close the door. 1 second.
Okay. And while we wait, I'm going to mute you for a moment. Tom, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to join us. And yeah, so while we wait, now I want, there's definitely been a lot going on lately. I'm curious, what has been your experience overall, kind of like since, I want to say since the pandemic hit, since, it's something we're all experiencing really, on some kind of level. And kind of like as you tap into the energy of Akasha and into that, how does that, like, what wants to come through regarding, like, say, the purpose and how we can grow from this? What is the purpose of this Corona COVID? How can we grow from it?
Well, there are so many factors that kind of pandemic brought up, like Corona too, but also pandemic. I feel like there are two purpose or energy happening through. But one thing, it was just like we needed to stop everything so that we can think, right? Like pandemic forces us just not do anything for at least couple weeks for everyone. I mean, a lot of people. And like that's exactly what I wanted people to have, is just not working, not doing anything, not functioning, so that they can actually look back and see the quality of life that they are, or the relationship that they have with people around them. More than anything, I feel that like to focusing on like now, like the current moment is very important. That like I'm like telling people to like look at the sky, like actually like have a conversation like with your people, or when we eat something, like just taste the food. Like I'm just trying to be more mindful and intentional about every moment.
Yes, yes, that resonates. Yes, I know. Really, a lot of that experience has been what I've witnessed is in some aspects it has felt like deep separation, because we had to kind of take a step back from our time, like with people, events. And so it was almost like this extreme separation. Yet then once like we had just kind of took that time in our own space, from there then came like the deep connection, because then when we did reach out, we did begin to have that, some like time like one-on-one or in person, what comes through, were we taken? It's like everything settled, was very quiet, and then what came through was like that really like in silence, the meditation. Then we were led to like these paths. And I know in personal experience, I feel like there's been like multiple paths just like presenting themselves and like choice after choice after choice point. Um,
That's what
yeah.
I'm gonna say, that like I see complete division as well. Like, I'm not only talking about the political parties, but like individually we have completely different realities. Like some people are not seeing the reality that some others are seeing, like, you know, opposite. And I was kind of like observing this energy, like, why is this so much division? Is that universe is basically making it hard for us to just be very passive. Like we have to go aggressively go get some information. Like we have to go aggressively making the decisions and choices, like where to stand and what your voices are, so that
Mm.
there is no like a gray zone. Like they're trying to eliminate those like, oh, I'm just gonna go with the flow vibe. Like it's like less and less now. And by attacking each other, it's not really helpful, but also it is kind of like, like just slacking each other's ass. Like, what are you doing to change this reality? Like, don't just be passive, like do something. And I think
Mm.
that was needed, for Americans.
Yes, yes, that action, and I feel like that action, like that's like that divine masculine energy. And like leading up to this, I'd heard a lot of like different like, spiritual like guides and stuff talking about like the coming of like the anchoring more of the masculine energy. And,
Mhm.
it's been very strongly feminine. Perhaps that's a part of that divine masculine coming in, like now is time to take action. We were really strong in going with that flow, that feminine energy. It's like we also need that masculine energy of like, okay, it's time to be firm. It's time to like, that firmness can feel aggressive sometimes, and it's time to like take action in what we're
Yeah,
doing,
yeah,
and be like responsible for our reality.
exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
Um,
And the reason that it's happening to America too, I kind of gave a thought about it. And like, I think, this country has a lot of potential. Like this country is, progressed in any other country than ever in a way. But this is also giving a reason for some others to take advantage of this country. So like, I think, um, a lot of people are like, oh, look at the other country, they're miserable too. And I was like, no, like America this is happening because so many people were just like letting those greed happen, never really looked back on their actual like reality or life. And like, yeah, like we like people like kind of let them run, right? So like, yeah, it is really good that this America is doing, so that other country will either follow or they can use it as a mirror, right? That how they
yeah.
want government or the parties, I mean the society to be. And yeah, like there's a
Yeah.
reason that it's happening here as well.
Yeah. And what I think is so special and unique about America is that it has a little bit of all the different cultures in here.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
has some of that, so it has a little bit of all the pieces. And so it's like, so it's made of this like large variety. So it's like we get to see like when a little bit of everywhere all over the world comes together.
Yeah. Totally.
Um, so we do have, I want to go ahead and now go ahead and answer oh, we lost Tom. Okay, I'm going to add Julie. Hi, Julie. Welcome on. It's so good to have you with us. Oh, can you hear us, Julie? You're on mute. Oh, there you are.
Hi, I was just checking things out to see what you guys were up to over here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you for joining. Doing the podcast with you a while back ago actually inspired a lot of this. So, like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. That's what I thought. And you guys are talking more about things I don't talk about. So I'm glad to come on and say hi.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, like, do you want to share with us a little bit of the show you do? And then we'd love to answer a question for you.
My view on things right now.
Well, I was thinking you could share. I'd love like to help promote the podcast that you do, and so anyone listening can check that out. I think it's
Oh,
really great. Has some
oh,
great insights and
awesome.
wonderful guests on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Well, it started because of COVID, and somebody asked me to be on their podcast, and I had intentions in my own business to bring in different healers. People don't necessarily. Can you hear me? Did I get disconnected?
We can hear you.
Okay. Um, I wanted to bring different healers in because clients don't always connect with one healer or one type of modality. And so I wanted healers to come on and others to tell their stories and just, share that information so that, other healers could be in contact with, other healers and clients and people that aren't awake can maybe try something. So, and outside of that, it was another platform for me, to be honest. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, we were muted. I was talking, but it was muted. Oh, wonderful.
and
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's wonderfully inspiring.
and so it's Spiritual Alchemy Energy Transfiguration is a podcast with Julianne Guthrie Smolson. So you can get that on audio or YouTube. So there's that.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Yes, spiritual alchemy. Um, so Julie, do you have anything that you would like to ask today? Any questions coming up?
Any questions coming up?
Yeah.
I would like to have some Akashic record channelers come back on my show and towards the end of the year and maybe do a collective reading.
Yes. Yes, that
So
would be awesome.
so that's my first question. So that's a yes.
Man.
um, I may be taking a trip and I want to make sure it's going to be very beneficial for me. So
Okay. What has inspired your trip? What helped to inspire your trip?
well, it's my work and it's a personal healing journey as well.
Mm, mm,
So it's to do some healing.
So it's like like a self-care trip, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. I will
Mm,
I will be doing a healing session with a healer.
mm.
Where are you going, Julie?
Another mountain.
On the mountain. Yeah.
Well, any time that we are taking time for self-care, like with where we are collectively, and this certainly applies for you, Julie, on the personal micro level as well. Anytime that take that time and create the space to really honor the body and to really do something or just do nothing, but
Yeah.
whatever is really calling, like, yes, do that, and maybe in the moment it might feel that, well, there's like this, maybe there's an energetic block there or whatever, those questionings, is it right? Maybe it's expensive, or maybe it's just, you got to like take time out of other things and take away from other things. And like, the other things will like, come together how they need to, and they'll come together even more like vibrantly once you are in that higher vibrating state yourself. And so through taking this time to do a trip like this, like, yes, do that. And so then like the next question that like I have a question coming up is like, as you think about this trip, like how does your heart feel in the moment?
Um, I'm going. I don't have any real reservations about it. It's just, I guess the outcome. The outcome is my concern
Hmm.
because I have certain expectations and I shouldn't.
We all have.
Huh?
We all have that expectation, so don't worry.
So that's my concern. I'm going. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna go relax. I'm gonna go do my thing, and I'm just hoping that some big stuff happens for me.
So energetically, like I'm not worried, right? Like I'm not worried about this journey is going to be beneficial for you or not, because it is going to. Like there is no, doubt or worry in that. But like I think the fact that you feel that little bit of worry about the outcome is probably like you don't know how powerful you are, is what they're saying. Like you're connected to the source, like you're connected to the universe, and you know what you're doing. So they're like, why are you worried?
Okay, thank you.
This is a reading. Yeah, but seriously, like, yeah, that's the energy. Yeah, like you're gonna be fine.
What's that?
Like it's like you're gonna be fine. Like that's what universe is saying.
Oh, I know I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, and
But
so yeah, and then, can understand that sometimes, like, go into something and like are really excited about it and have those expectations, like, oh yeah, this is going to be like this, it's going to be great, and then the actual experience is different than like what we imagined it would be like, and that doesn't like, and so sometimes yes, there is a potential for egoic disappointment. Yet you got to remember that it's not about serving the ego and how ego can like thrive from this. It's like, okay, your spirit is calling you here. It's spirit guided. So you're in that direction. You're flowing there. So then whatever comes, like, you can envision like the experience you would like to have, and feel into those feelings so you can start to create that and cultivate that before you get there. And so then that will help you to then like have that. So it's not, like mentally like figuring everything out, but just feeling the like feelings of what you wish to like experience. And so then that will like help to like bring that forward. And then you know what, if something happens, and like sometimes it happens in life, like we've been doing our meditation, we've been doing our sacred practices, and all of a sudden we're like, a trigger happens, and then it's like, whoa, what just happened? Well, that trigger, that's a blessing. So if anything like that
right,
comes up, remember
right.
the blessing in that and how that is helping you to grow. And then you can really practice the tools that you have learned in those to help forward, when that comes up, if that comes up. And and if it does come up, like, remember when this tree, like, thank you, okay, universe.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else I can contribute tonight to you?
Oh, we're happy to have you on. Your presence is such a beautiful contribution. Yeah, we're very grateful to have you with us.
Well, thank you for the reading.
Yes, yes, you're welcome to stay on,
Okay.
or you can depart, whatever you feel. And if we do have room for another question, we can come back around.
Okay.
We have two other callers on now, so we'll go
I'm
ahead
gonna
and do. Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna mute. So
Okay, and I'll put you behind the behind the
okay.
scene. Oh, thank you. Okay. Tom, welcome back. You made it back on. I'm happy to see you back.
Both the laptop and the cell phone, I don't.
We're having a hard time hearing you.
Is it laptop or cell phone?
No. They're both supposed to be on. I don't know which one is working. But
Is there
it
any
might
like a
be the.
speaker mark? Not the
Is that better?
microphone, but speaker mark? Yes,
That's a
if
little bit better. Yeah. When
I'll
you're,
just try
yeah,
and
that
speak
was
up.
okay. That's perfect right there.
Okay.
That's great. Welcome, Tom.
Two. Are you ready for my question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Um. I'd like to know how to be in surrender to my heart and trust the process and cooperate with the invisible helpers, including my angel guides and numerology. Um, I'm coming into a lot of positive karmic changes, and I really want to. I choose to be receptive, and I'm noticing that the one person that needs the most help is myself. I'm really bringing that energy into healing and nurturing my own uh, inner child and learning to love myself so that I can experience joining and connection. And I do have a prayer for a sacred, sacred, intimate relationship. And I realize that my energy to just trust the process, how to be detached and yet own my desire, and also the ego work to attune. So it's just a process of transformation and deepen self-care. So I think my question is to how do I allow myself to go into my greater good, more depth of receivership and also reciprocity to begin to extend my gifts and be courageous, live from my courage more, get out of my comfort zone. So those are some of the things, and I'll pause there. If you hear a question, otherwise I can try and get it even more pointed.
So I'll go first. That's okay, Katsura. I just want to say that like I am like really proud of your past. Like I know that you lifted a lot of weight, you know. I also another thing that I will point out is this is a process, right? Like we will never have that like specific goal, like this is okay. Like it's always a process and you are on the right journey. One thing that they do tell is like again, like the same thing that I was talking about earlier, but be more mindful. Like what I see is like you're doing great and just like relax into that, you know, yourself like a little bit more. And I see you like and this happens like to everyone. This is actually one of the process. So like, you have nothing to worry about. But if you can, like, just try to like focus on the sky, like, look at the sky, like see how beautiful they are, or have that conversation, like without the fear of judgment, but more like, you be accepted, you be loved. And when you are really comfortable with yourself, like try to communicate through that vibration, rather than if you're doing it okay, or you worry about the other person, like show the excitement, like show the love. So like relaxing is the keyword one I see. But also, yeah, important to know that this is like exactly the process that we all take, and we are all on the same page. That we're always like worried, like, how can we surrender more? Yeah.
I heard you say to try and relax and appreciate and be myself, and receive the love in my environment, where I'm experiencing.
Receive the love too, but if you're trying to receive it, like you're not receiving it, like so like that is why like it's like relaxing. It's like when people like another thing here is like when you are trying to like receive, or when you're trying to give, like there are some kind of expectation and a little bit of tension there. But if you are just like open your arm in the field, like breathe in, and if the bird fly out, I don't know, hang out with you a little bit, like you feel more like, whoa, like this is cool, rather than like, oh, how is the bird is doing? Like, am I offending them? Like, am I okay being here? Like, am I surrendering enough? Like, I'm not saying that you are giving off that vibe, but extremely that can happen, right? So like, just know that you are like, you're welcome here, like you're loved already, and more like there's nothing that you need to do, and that helps you to hopefully relax into that moment. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so the first thing that was really coming to mind was definitely like that, like, recognizing like that self-care, like prioritizing that and putting that first, like that is like you're like that is like walking the path, like you have began that journey. And so the more that continue down that like cycle of really honoring yourself, your body, all your bodies, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, then you're going to continue to align in that direction. The more you deepen in your understanding of what are those things that bring you that joy, then, and it just can be it. And so you deepen that understanding of the things that bring you that joy. From there can then walk forward in that joy more fully. And so it's like interesting, it's like, well, okay, because then the question can come up, it's like, okay, well, how can I deepen my understanding of joy, and it's like, and then back to kind of what Na was saying, is like the less that really like try to force and make that happen. So it's interesting, we were talking earlier about like the masculine feminine, like in the action taking and forward, and it's like I feel like right here, like for you, what can really apply is a little bit more of like that feminine, that energy of where it can like, opposed to trying to make it happen and forcing making it, and then that tension being created there, um letting go a little bit of that trying, like exactly as Now is saying, and then just like, oh, yeah, surrendering, like that surrendering, that word surrender, like you were talking about, how to surrender more deeply into that. How can Tom surrender more deeply into that? And so it's like coming back into that self-care, really embodying your divine feminine, really, and that will help with relationships as well. Like, bringing it back into like really merging deeply with your masculine and your feminine. And how can you like, what are those feminine qualities within yourself, and allowing that to be more present fully with you. um, and so it's like, and what are those feminine like qualities, like that ability to like just like ease and not force something to happen, but really just go in those directions. And when something kind of changes, like or it's not exactly as thought it would be, allowing yourself to like just accept it kind of like a motherly, like, with a child. Like sometimes they're not, like there's a little bit more learning and get like a little bit sidetracked or behind sometimes because just need to need to go over a lesson again. But it's, there's no need to judge in that situation or say like, you're bad or something. It's just it's just loving and honoring, like, okay, like this is slightly different. I'm still gonna love this experience for what it is. And if it's not an experience that serves you, then, allow it to be processed and then move away from it. And then with the knowledge gained, redirect the energy in another direction. Um, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now?
If you have like specific like like an incident or like pattern, you feel free to share. I don't know if you can think of any right now, but a lot of time in the beginning people fall through like kind of a similar pattern of relationship or similar pattern of like behavior. And if you can see that programming, I can help to uncode it.
Okay. Well, one is self-care with my daily routine and my body. Two is my productivity with my project, intentional living, and being in enoughness and surrender to allowing that to have a gestation and to actually come from idea to fulfillment. And I just to breathe through the fear of not knowing how that's going to emerge, and also reclaiming my worthiness and allowing goodness and a whole new life to unfold and breathing through those changes. And then the third one is a partner, a sacred partnership for a person that we're practitioner partners, looking forward to doing that. And I'm holding noticing attraction and desire for human intimacy and a long-term relationship, and just noticing how my ego constantly needed to come back to surrender, but also whole worthiness part, that I'm worthy, and yet there's things that need to happen for me to be in that vibrational match. And so just to kind of relax into doing my work, but have it be peaceful. So those are the three things that are primarily. I guess the fourth one would be my environment, to really attend and take care and refresh and create beauty wherever I'm at. So those are the four things.
So like I just see that like all of those things will happen, but what you can focus is the patience, right? Like you don't want to have you shouldn't be expecting everything to happen tomorrow. But who knows, a month later, who knows 3 months later, and right now you don't have a lot of things that you want, and I understand that's very frustrating, and sometimes like you feel like you're not on the right path, but you're just climbing up the stepping stone or the stairs to get to all those things. So I'm not really worried about that. I think like everything that starts where you just started is that routine, like having a nice healthy like routine helps you to get the productive days, and then those are productive days will give you the confidence that you need to have that healthy relationship, and healthy relationship will help you to trust the universe and relax into that even more, right? So like one thing that from like three-dimensional point of view, like I can suggest is that using alarm. Like my friend was sharing this thing that he feels horrible not be able to like time everything or schedule everything. So like he has this like once a week his alarm goes off to clean up the fridge. Like every day his alarm goes off to like do some tasks. Like he has this pills that he has to take, so he has an alarm for it. It's like using that technology. I was like, this is why technology exists, to make us feel better. It makes it easier for us, right? So like use that, and then trust, and then be proud of yourself who's doing that for yourself. But yeah, don't ever beat up for something that we can do. You just ask for help. Yeah, use something.
Okay, and then the final one actually the fifth one is intimacy with myself while I'm praying for an intimate partnership to come into fruition. Um, so the one thing that I feel aligned is to practice self-love, physically and intimacy, and it feels like that's the most aligned. I really don't want to go out and find a physical relationship with sex. I really want intimacy. If I
So
could
can you
meet
speak up?
someone,
Can you speak up the last couple sentence? Sorry, last like 30
yeah,
seconds. I
I
couldn't hear.
think just honoring my own, yeah, honoring my own sexuality with myself, I think feels the aligned thing to do while I'm trusting the process with the person that I'm holding a prayer for spirit to guide us, you know.
Totally. Like I'm on the same journey. Like I want the partnership, but universe didn't give me that partner. I mean, I still haven't had it, but like I was like frustrated, or I felt like I was the one like doing something wrong. But like I really taking my time to like getting to know myself, like love myself, yeah, being comfortable with myself. But also I found so many things about myself, and I think like there are part of Tom that still needs to be discovered, and that's why like this is everything is happening for a reason, I think. But how's Katsura thinks?
Yeah, so one of the things that came to mind was like, in a part of your self-care plan and that practice and that creating that intimacy with yourself, and so like saw you like on a blanket, like taking yourself on a date, give yourself that experience of what you really would like, what you really want, and then and do it for yourself, and so you can start to create that, and it'll be a part of your like like if you maybe you take yourself on a date once a week, every Wednesday night or every Friday night, you set aside 2 hours or 3 hours or maybe just 90 minutes sometimes. Definitely give yourself at least 90 minutes. And you take yourself on this date, and then and as you continue this process and this like self-care time, this date time with yourself, also like maybe allow yourself to like push past some comfort zones of like something that you wouldn't normally do, but you decide to do it, so that way like if the opportunity does come and you do meet someone, you will have gotten past some barriers in your own practice already, and that will save you from then like taking that like same experience with that person, and you will have worked through that. And so like really like when you take yourself on a date, start small, and then as you get more comfortable with that, then maybe you do this one thing that you've never done before. You take this class that you would never see yourself, but you decide to take that class and you decide to do it, and it's a little uncomfortable at first, but then like you will grow so much from that. And so just keep doing that, keep pushing your own like boundaries and comfort zone in a loving way. It's like when we're in relationship with someone, we don't want to push boundaries, but like with ourselves, we do want to get past our comfort zones, and so allow yourself to get into some a little bit uncomfortable areas, but you'll be with yourself, so the only person to like love you through it is you. And then yes, so just that's what I have to say with that one. Yeah. Mhm.
thank you so much. That was very, very, very helpful.
Oh, good. Thank you, Tom. You're
Especially
welcome to stay. Oh, go ahead.
like that concept of taking myself on a date. That was not in my awareness, so thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure. Oh, thank you for joining. You're welcome to stay on and listen, or if you need to go, that's totally great too. So good to have you with us, Tom. Okay. And oh,
Okay, and
oh, you're on here twice. Hey, hi, Tom again. Okay, there's a lot of background noise. I put you on mute. I'm going to go ahead and bring Julie back on. She stayed with us, and we'll have some question answered for Julie, and then Tom, and we can do another one if you wish afterwards. And hi, Julie.
Hi.
Hi, I'm glad you stayed with us.
I'm just hanging out. I'm just
Yeah.
listening. I don't have a
Oh,
question really. It's just a matter of divine timing and just doing work until some things come to fruition.
yes. Yes, feeling that. Yeah, and trusting in the divine timing. Yes.
Yes.
Trusting and like now reference to earlier, also taking action, really taking that action. Um,
Yeah.
so, um, oh, go ahead.
Um, one of my big things that I am, well, writing about and have written about is child sexual abuse. And we're seeing a lot of that in the news lately. So I don't know if you guys can speak to that in a collective sense.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing this up. I've actually like lately have had multiple dreams now of like, just seeing really uncomfortable things kind of in that department. And yeah, it's been really, hard to process the next morning and I get really super emotional and I don't know if it's like whatever it's playing out. I don't know if it's like some kind of psychic pickup or what, but yeah, I'm really glad you asked because that's been really um big in the field. And I think a part of why it is so prevalent right now is as we're on this like, this like deepening in our healing work is one word for it. I like to envision us as already healed, and what we're doing is we're bringing balance to areas that are off balance. And so maybe that means, then like here we see the situation with children and being taken advantage of, and their innocence basically stolen. There's a huge imbalance there, um, and it's it's like one of the most challenging things to have compassion for, um, is this action. In my personal
Mm-hmm.
opinion, I feel it's like the most like it's like the hardest thing for me to have compassion. I mean, there's a lot of things, but yes, like having compassion for like the perpetrators in this situation is like one of the most challenging things, and it's like so much of me wants to resist that and wants to like be angry and like say like like cast these like thoughts and ideas of wishing that they like have a like get their medicine or whatever, and it's like no, 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 like like that only continues to perpetuate the wound that is being played out in their actions, that goes like far deeper beyond even like this reality and this existence. And it's almost like, yeah, I usually don't like to go there, but here I am. Like it's almost like even like alien, like, alien implantation that has like gotten into the psyche of the human nature, and there is no sense of humaneness within that. And so it's almost like what we are being asked to now do is there's this giant virus that's been implanted in the collective experience here. And it's like, before it's like we were like moving about our day with this virus and the computer still worked, you could still do it. We noticed some lag here and maybe more pop-ups, but we could still use our computer. It was still like it was still usable. Well, it's to the point now where like just straight up a lot of programs aren't functioning because of this. And it's like one of the biggest wounds to heal, to bring balance into, um, is extracting this virus. And it's like, it's so like hard. It's like, how do we extract this, especially from our like place where we are on the individual basis, like like what it's like there are people who are inspired and motivated to be like the investigators on the crime scene and to do the busts, and that's so much gratitude to those beings. And so it's like, what can
Mm-hmm.
we do in our own space, because maybe perhaps that's not our highest calling, but it is our highest calling to be aware of this and to infuse whatever love, prayers, ritual, like that's what I'm hearing is like these like a lot of what's taking place with this action is like is rituals. They are using like these beings, these humans, these just innocent child. You know, what's the most beautiful thing in the world? Like, you know, one of the most beautiful things is the innocence of children. And so that used in ritual like has just this magnifying like you know, it's just so much energy because it's so pure. And so it's so then our responsibility then is to and like to do the rituals of love, to like counteract, and for more of us to like whatever that is, to pray, to do these rituals. And so like what I'm seeing is like synchronized rituals. There's a Facebook event that's talking about like a meditation, a global meditation to liberate all beings with the focus of childlike sex trafficking. And so it's like joining those things, doing our own parts. Like if all of the collective can start to like really cultivate that love, and it's like that can help. Like the more, you know, we do that, counteract this, then it creates more energy around this other reality that we are building, which is where we see all kids having their innocence throughout their entirety, living a full childhood. Like that's what we want. And so like that's what we can do on the individual basis, is do those like rituals, sitting around a fire, like, you know, really that focus on liberation, liberating these souls.
Yeah, we
So,
have a lot of adults that have been victims as well that need healing. I am one of those children that was taken to rituals and abused for many years as a child. So it's very close to my heart, and it's my story. And it's funny. It's funny you bring up
So
the alien plantation of the human consciousness, because that's part of my story as well.
So my point of view is, I believe that this whole world is a virtual reality, and especially like those information or the things that we are seeing on social media are working as like a reflection of us, like a mirror. Like there are so many tragedy in the life, right? Like one time, I just couldn't stop crying whenever I see homeless people on the street. Like I also have like so many. I personally, on this lifetime, I do not have a sexual like abuse trauma. Like a little bit, but like not to the point that like I feel that weight. But in the past lives, I remember some of the past lives I was sexually abused, and I was still carrying that energy in this lifetime, so I had to do a lot of healing on that. But like when you, like you said, you that's part of your story, and that's why when you see it, it triggers you, right? And what it does is that they're lighting the spotlight onto those wounds that needs to be healed.
Oh,
And
yeah. On top of that, I was hypnotized to forget, which is very common.
mm-hmm.
So that's another hurdle. And a lot of people out there don't realize that they are victims as well, or
Yeah,
survivors, rather.
yeah. But like another thing is like, I mean, healing takes like person to do it, and it's all healing journey is all different for
Mm-hmm.
like everyone. But like as a result of healing or collectively, there Katsura said that like the balance was off or it was going a little too much, and so like right now the energy wants to balance back, and the result of that bringing back the balance, we do the collective meditation and we do all this work, and we support those people who aggressively go into the scene and help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Important thing is that your intention in this. So like if you want to be healed, like you do those with that intention of healing. I think like the part that people don't understand is to not just talking about it, to just joining them does not mean a lot of things. Or it can be deep, the healing can be deeper by intentionally knowing like what you're doing in each process. Like if you still need to talk about your experiences, like you should do that. Like I'm not asking you to do it like right now, but like I feel like there are still those. What I see is this like black, like I
For
don't know,
me
like
personally,
like a
oh yeah,
rock.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it's not as heavy as it used to be, or it's not bothering you as much, but it's always there, you know.
Well, I haven't consciously acknowledged it because it's only come into my conscious that it happened to me in the last 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I'm still dealing with it. And
Yeah, I think the rock was always there, and you just like realize that because of those like posts or the other movements that you see. You know what I mean? Like that is triggering you so that you will acknowledge that you have this rock
right.
in your heart. And that's what it's doing. The social media is doing that job for you. And now you acknowledge that like little black rock in your heart. And now you're going to ask yourself, like, what can I do for this, right? What can I do about this? And the process will take like talking. I just see a lot of talking. Like you need to talk about those like experiences in order to for you to like see as a kind of a objective point of view. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
And so a part of like, you talked about the hypnotism. And so, and I feel like that's a part of also what's helping to um, unveil, open up this door, this window, so that others can also allow it to open up. So it's like through
Mm,
you, like, there have been others who have broken that hypnotic spell. And you breaking that hypnotic spell, then that helps to then like it's like this, like, it's like a woven web. And so when one person wakes up from it and another person, it slowly like loosens and detangles that until it like just it's not strong enough to hold anymore and just dissipates. And so it's like the more that you speak to it, the more you're able to clear this rock within yourself, this virus, then that will help tremendously, because then that is helping to break that spell. That is helping to then unravel that woven like net that has many people trapped at this moment. And so it's like, oh, so it's like one thing, and as hard as so it's like really, it's like this interesting like balance of like not identifying as that, because then that almost like it holds it, but that doesn't mean like not processing or experiencing it. It's just like being aware of this truth, and but not like falling into like the traps of it. Does that make sense?
Like self-pity and depression, like going there and being caught up in it that way.
Yes, yes, exactly. And so it's like, yeah, like the talking, and it's almost like as much as you feel comfortable, like, and if you wish to like this like public sharing, like, that will help to then perhaps help other people then feel more comfortable, and more like understanding and maybe question like, oh, like, is this something in my experience? And then can
Mm-hmm.
like, can start to like unravel a little bit more. And so the more like it's talked about, the more and shared and out in the open, then the like, yes, then the more that rock can start to like, those dark, it's almost, so it's like I see that rock now you saw like as almost like your crystal, like your crystalline, like the crystal of life, and we like for you, like we all have like some kind like this like crystal, like crystalline like structure. And so it's like it's almost like that has been clouded, and so it's like in like by this dark like whatever it is.
Evil.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so it's like the more can clear that, then your true like diamond self can just shine in that like bold color and shine for others to then like be able to like, like a beacon in the light come to you for that. And yeah, oh yeah, that's a part of like, like this has come up multiple times now where like readers have like spoken to like your deep power, and like just being able to like, come out of that hypnosis, like that is so empowering. And it's almost like, like you came into this embodiment, this lifetime, and and not to say like you necessarily like I don't, it's not even that you necessarily chose to have this experience, but like you chose to like break through some kind of big barriers and big walls. And I don't think your soul, like I don't think like before like coming in fully knew what that meant or what that was going to look like. You just knew you were determined to like break through some major walls, you know, to really do some unraveling of some dark matter that's not serving the highest purpose. And so like that is your like that. And so it's like that was like a big part of your soul mission, is to break through that. And so and that's what you are like being called to do right now, is to continue that breaking through, continue like just like shining so much that like that dark matter can no longer exist.
Yep. Oh boy.
Yeah. And so
Oh,
this trip you're going on, like, you know, this is a great opportunity to do this work, to really take the time and like, you know, and it's gonna be like I feel like a lot of mental activity. And I don't necessarily like mean like mental like thoughts and like things you do and strategizing necessarily, but it's like a lot of it, you know, the hypnosis, it's a lot of like mind work. It's a mind game, you know, that they did to you. And so it's like that's kind of where it's like almost as if like maybe that's where the virus is. It's in the mind, in your mental body, stored somehow there, or not even like stored. It's just somehow attached. And so it's like, oh, so it's like what, you know, like what can you do specifically? Like Reiki, if you practice Reiki, if you have Reiki practitioners, like that Reiki can be really strong. Um, um, yeah, like I'm really seeing that. And like, you know, I'm happy at any time to like offer some distance Reiki. Um, and if you wish now, can just share a little bit of Reiki if you're okay with that.
yes.
Oh, yeah, just offer that Reiki energy through the spaces, through time and space. Oh, and even if you are not Um, wow, this is the first time I've ever gotten this, but I feel called to just like embed the first Reiki symbol Shoku-rei in you. I've never done this, but if you're open to the experience, can and then you can practice some of that self Reiki, you know, through like your hand, like through you can practice like with your hands, feeling the energy there, placements, and if you wish, I can like share the Shoku-rei symbol with you right now.
Yes.
Okay, and so go ahead and just really allow yourself to relax. Wow, we call upon divine masters of light to hold a safe and sacred space for Julie, for those on the call now, for any who may listen. Hmm. And so I'm gonna, in the air, create Shoku-rei. Oh. Oh. And you are welcome to call upon Shoku-rei, this Reiki energy, to work on yourself, to work with others as feels inspired, but primarily, this is a gift for you and for your healing path. And we want you to remember that as you use this energy, how pure of a being you are, how delighted we are for the gifts that you share, and the deep, deep gratitude for this work that you are doing. And just remember, you can call upon Reiki guides, your guides at any time to be there for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your vulnerability and your deep work that you're doing. Yeah. Mhm. Hmm. Is there anything else now?
No, thank you.
Oh.
You know, it's a process, but it's kind of like it's the time. Right now is a good time to do this. It's a lot of energies are shifting, so it's actually easy to move. But like we can only help you with Reikis and everything, right? It is scary because it's unknown. You don't know like what's gonna happen once you open a box, and like that is why like you're making this black rock so that it's like it's there, but you don't need to like interact with it, right? Right? But I also see that like once you actually like started to like talk about it or like started to really give a thoughts about it, it will open to the way that it will make more sense to you. Like you will know like connection with your emotions and experience, and like how that shaped you and how that affected you and how much you were hurt and all that. Like it will come out, and during it's coming out, it might be a little painful. It is gonna be painful, but once like immediately you will feel that it is painful but also very light. Like at the same time the energy gets lighter, and it gets lighter and lighter as you move forward. So like yeah, like I've done some like emotional stuff, and like it's always uncomfortable, but it's worth it. And I like Katsura said that like you doing that work is very sacred, and it is helping the whole world. So
Thank you.
mhm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know Katsura is like muting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to go ahead and put you behind the scenes again. Okay. And so it looks like we're hit our hour mark. I did want to answer one question that came up in personal message. And we're going to refer to this person as Atlantis. And Atlantis asks, what personal karma do I have I come to balance in this lifetime, and how can I overcome it?
I don't know. It's hard for me because I do it more like you know, like a specific pattern. Like if I also don't know because I might need their name to look into that energy. Because like right now, there's not a lot of information. Like Katsura, you should start talking so that maybe I'll pick up the energy because I don't know that person.
Yeah. Oh, same. I mean, I do, know
Mhm.
them. But yes, I do have this like experience of it being kind of like really vast and kind of hard to like pinpoint. It is nice to have that close, like interpersonal experience. And so, like, what's coming right now is to just really like answer for the collective. Remember that we are all a part of the collective. And while we must and need to really focus on our own process so that our own like peace can be fully in like the most divine shape, the most authentic, the most real to us shape, then it's going to like, like I see it as a puzzle, then that's going to fit in um, more unified. And so that's like a big part of like why the self-care is so important, because the more like we are in that space, then we will then connect with others, who have done their work, and they've also shaped, exactly as they need to be to then fit together and lock in. And so the more that we can lock in together as a whole, as a collective, then it's like this idea of separation, which is true. We're in human bodies. We are literally separate. Like right now, and Tom and Julie, we're together, but we're also separate. Yet we're also like, coming back to like the like main like broader perspective viewpoint. We're all still a part of that oneness, and so it's like, so that self care is really important, of course, and so that we can come together and remember that wholeness, and that wholeness, like, and it's an energetic wholeness. It's that wholeness where we are not judging others, for their different perspectives and their different viewpoints. And that's a part of why we see so much in our current reality, this like such strong opposing viewpoints, is because it's showing, that our differences are showing. And also it's like, then it's like easy to fall into this idea like, oh, we're so different, we're so separate, how can we be one? And especially like with the movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, and that like the like how that has such a loud voice right now, than before. And it continues to grow, is because it's like these aspects, and similar, like, with the child trafficking, like, these aspects and these senses that we are not a part of that. We're separate from that. No, I could never be that. And it's not that you are that, whether it's racist or pedophilia. It's not that you are that, but we are a part of that same, like, that same at least for now, we're a part of the same species, if nothing else, we're a part of the same species. And so that, like, remembering that connection, that blood, we all bleed the same. And so it's like right now it's coming to the surface, is like all these differences. And so, like, how can we love through the differences and still see the sisterhood, still see the brotherhood right now, still have compassion, still have love, even when our opinion is different. And that's okay. It's not saying to have the same opinion as these people. It's just saying to still have compassion and still love, like that. Go ahead now.
Well, like I see that like your puzzle, and I think like that connected to the differences that you're talking is like, so the keyword that I pick up was freedom. And I like, so you said that collectivity karmatic, like, resolution, right? So like one thing that like we have like kind of brainwashed is that like society asks us to be in certain shapes so that they can easily like control us, right? Or like our parents or ancestors has been also telling us the certain things, when that is not true. But everybody was hoping that, oh, we have to sacrifice each other so that we can make this society work. And that was working at the time. But I think not right now, like we need to realize that we have a lot more freedom, or we need a lot more freedom. Like how I see it is like, people who wants to cook should cook. People who wants to build the house should build the house. Like people who wants to teach should teach. Like that's the definition of the freedom. Like we are doing what we want to do. Same thing with having an opinion. Like everybody should have their opinion, regardless of the skin color, regardless of wherever they are. But society is taking the free will away from us by giving all this information through medias and social medias and newses and a lot of things, right? So like to me, like be authentic to yourself, like live kind of a truth, like for you, like your truth, live in your truth. Yeah, like those things will shape us to be the puzzle that needed to the world. That makes sense. Like one thing that we really need to get over is that we are not forcing anything. It's more like we are going back to our natural self. So like if you really feel the tension, if you ever feel that you are doing something for other people's sake, for somebody's sake, you should stop that and really, really know that you have a free will and freedom, everything that you do is your option, and then be responsible for about the action that you make. And that's the only way to like be authentic and then, you know, be the puzzle of to each other. If that makes sense?
Yeah, I think that freedom was a big piece. Like, you know, like the more free we are, the more we liberate ourselves, then the more we can really be in that, yeah, be our authentic self. And then the more we'll be in our, you know, highest calling and then meet with
Yeah,
those and continue to lift up and spread that sense of freedom and liberation.
hopefully. Hopefully that will answer that Atlantis' question.
Yes, yeah, give a little bit of clarity into that, or maybe open a trail to explore further.
Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it is hard because there are so many things going, but also it is hard to generalize it because everybody's having different journey, and I don't want to be talking about like politic or any specific thing. Um, but it is also true that so many things are just yelling at us like, be yourself, like what do you believe in, make action. And I think that's important right now.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. Take action, be yourself. Authentic, inspired action.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah, the prayer for the day. Um, May we all live more authentically, taking action in on our journey.
Yeah,
Yes, following that inspiration. Oh, is there anything else you'd like to share before we close?
I think I did pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, 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 it feels good. I'm so grateful that you were able to join us now. And Tom and Julie, thank
It's always,
you. Thank you,
I know,
thank
thanks
you.
Tom, thanks
And all the
Lily.
listeners, thank you. Hmm. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a moment to just allow the messages of the Akasha to integrate into our own bodies so that it may continue to really be a part of our life, integrate with the earth so that it may assist others in any way possible. And with the deepest of gratitude, we close the Akashic Records. The deepest of gratitude, we close the Akashic Records. The deepest of gratitude, we close the Akashic Records. All right, thank you.
That was fun, Katura. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, yeah, you too. Thank you for joining. It was fun.